Powerful Content Podcast, your go-to source for content creation, strategy, and business inspiration. I'm your host, Mel Daniels, content strategist, coach, and speaker, empowering women across the globe to grow their business with powerful content that connects, nurtures, and converts. So if you're ready to create standout content that gets you noticed and remembered, or build an aligned audience who love you and are ready to buy from you, you're in the right place. I believe that content has the power to connect us all. It's up to you how you use it. Listen in for genuine and insightful chats with guests, as well as practical tools and strategies from me. It's so lovely to have you here. Let's dive into the show. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to episode 58 of the Powerful Content Podcast. It's so lovely to have you here. Now, I'm going to be honest and say that my title for this podcast episode was a little bit clickbaity, and the reason is that there is no secret and there is no code to crack when it comes to content marketing. True fact. People make out that like there's some sort of magic ingredient or formula or a strategy to follow or tactics to use, but the reality is there's so many different variables and each one of us is so unique that using a copy and paste solution with content marketing is just not going to work. So apologies in advance if you decided to listen to this episode because you wanted a quick fix, because you're not going to get one today. But I'm not going to let you walk away without some ideas on how you can use this in your own very unique business, in your own very unique way, to make sure that the time, the energy, and resources that you spend on your content marketing isn't wasted. So stay tuned. But first, I wanted to let you know that the doors are opening to my beautiful membership, The Content Effect, in a few short weeks if you're listening to this in real time, and that will be May 2023. And there's a few ways that you can make sure that you stay in the loop and don't miss the opportunity to join us in this round, as this year I've decided to only open the doors twice. So the first way that you can stay tuned is to download my newest free resource, which is called Unlock Consistent Content, and then purchase the masterclass that goes with it if you're ready to deep dive into the framework of unlocking your consistent content. The second is to just go straight ahead and pop your name on the wait list for the Content Effect. Between now and when the doors open, you'll get access to some behind the scenes and exclusive bonuses and resources. So make sure you go and do that. The link to both of these are in the show notes. Okay, so let's get back to cracking this code. So like I said, whilst there's no one size fits all formula, I do believe that there's several things that you can do that will set you up for success when it comes to your content creation and content strategy. The first is to have a strategy and really be powerful with your content creation. The second is leaning into that ideal client. And I know that I talk about this a lot, and other people who teach content marketing as well as marketing really do talk about the ideal client a lot, but it is so important. So I really encourage you to get clear on who that who is. The third thing is the what, and that is all about the possibilities you create with your service, with your package, with your program, with your course. So what can people be, do, or have as a result of working with you? The fourth thing is the why. And this is probably one of the most underutilized pieces of content marketing. And this is really about knowing yourself, knowing 100% what you believe in and what you believe to be true in your industry. And the last thing is around consistency. Okay, so let's dive into each of these. The first and most important is being powerful with your content. And by this, I mean creating your content with a strategy or a purpose in mind. Forgetting that throwing content spaghetti at the wall approach, and really being measured and really being purposeful and understanding why you're creating a piece of content. The easiest way to do this is to learn about and really apply that content journey to your content marketing. And when I talk about the content journey, I'm talking about those 5 phases. The first phase being connect, and then we move into subscribe, where they sign onto our email list. We then have the opportunity to nurture them, which is the 3rd phase. And then it's about converting them, getting them to purchase and onboarding them as well. So that's all about taking your ideal client from not knowing anything about you all the way through to become that raving fan. But when I talk about powerful content, I'm not being all, rah-rah and salesy about it or very masculine. Powerful content is about being purposeful and that it does the job that you intend it to do. And I'm going to say that again because it's really important. Powerful content is purposeful content that does the job that you intend it to do. I really do believe that content has the power to connect us all. It's up to you how you use it. And we really have 3 choices. Are we going to use it for good or for evil? Are we going to use it for purpose or just simply add to the noise? Or are we going to use it for impact, or is it ego-led? And what do I mean by all of those things? Well, good versus evil. It's just really about showcasing what the world is actually like, a true reflection of who you are and what is happening in your world. Purpose versus noise is all around having that intention behind every piece of content that you create. Or are you just creating for content's sake? And, we're really seeing the push for this in terms of AI and the ability to create more. But I really want you to think about, before you dive in and start using AI to create your content for you, are you using it with a purpose in mind, or are you just trying to create more and add to the noise that's out there? And the last is impact versus ego-led. So this is really about, what is the intention behind the piece of content that you're creating? Is it to change someone's life? Is it to help them, educate them, inspire them? Or is it all about you? Is it just to feed your ego and how good you are? So I really want you to think about those 3 things when it comes to content and creating powerful content. And they were good versus evil, purpose versus noise, or impact versus ego-led. And once we've made that decision on how to use our content, it just becomes a matter of alignment of the who, the what, and the why. So let's talk about each one of these as well. So the second thing we can really do to set ourselves up for a success is knowing your ideal client. And I'm seriously not going to harp on this. I'm not going to spend time on this at all, because there's 1,000 resources out there, including my unboring ideal client avatar worksheet, which is also in the show notes. But we all know how important it is, because when you talk to everyone, you really do end up talking to no one. And the one thing that I will say here is that knowing your ideal client means feeling connected to them. It's not just about who they are, but it's feeling truly connected to them, understanding what problems they're facing, how they're talking about it in their own words, and knowing what you can possibly create for them. What can they be? What can they do? And what can they have after working with you? And I think that they are really powerful questions to explore. If you want to go deeper into this, and I really do suggest that you do, then my good friend Jessica Osborne, marketing coach, who has also been on one of the early episodes of this podcast around nailing your niche, go back and listen to that episode. If you haven't, I'll pop it in the show notes. But she has a really great resource that you can access, and I'm going to pop that in the show notes for you as well. And that's really going to help you understand who your ideal client is. Okay, so now you know who they are. The next thing is the what. And this element I find is a kind of a step up in difficulty to nail after your ideal client. The what is all about knowing how you're letting your ideal client know what you can do for them. And the thing that trips most people up here is that they often default to the tangible or practical things that your service can do for your ideal client. So it's all about the videos, the 6-week one-on-one coaching, the workbooks to record your progress, the recorded masterclasses, group expert, private Facebook group. I think you get the idea, right? It's all about the things. And yes, your potential client at some point may want to know the things that they can get from working with you, but that's not what they really want to know. And this is where we talk about the transformations or the outcomes that they can get when they work with you. Now, these words, transformations, outcomes, have always been a bit of a foreign concept to me, something that's been really hard to grasp. And it's been really hard for me to articulate this. So I kind of like to think of it in a different way. And hopefully this will help you as well. So instead of thinking about these words, transformations and outcomes, and trying to put words around those, just simply think about what the possibilities are that you create in the life of your client. What can they be? What can they do? Or what can they have now as a result of working with you? How is their life going to change? How is their interactions with other people going to change? How are they going to change as a person? And this is your what. Now, I want you to sit with this for a while. Think really big. You started your business for a reason, and that reason is to make a difference to someone or something. And what is that difference that you wanted to make? Really tap into that. What was the reason that you started your business? And that's where you can start with describing the transformations that you provide. Now, if like me, you do struggle with this at times, go back and take a look at your testimonials. They're a really great way of helping us see our greatness, but they also provide a way for us to show others rather than just tell them about what they can expect from working with you. We will be able to start on that path to powerful content when we think about our ideal clients' going to bed problem. Translate that into what they desire their life to be, and then describe what they can be, do, and have. And when we speak to the possibilities rather than the things, that's when our ideal client's interest is piqued. And this brings us to the why. So this is undeniably the missing piece of most people's content. And I see this time and time again with both my members and my clients. You can do all the theory in the world and do all the foundational work and work out who you're talking to and explain what your ideal client can expect to achieve after working with you. But the why? Well, that's often the hardest part, and that's because it's about you. It's really time for you to do some soul searching and understand more about what you bring to the table that makes you so different to everyone else. This is the most obvious, yet really most underrated part of bringing that connective message together and creating powerful content. Because when you know exactly what you stand for and you can articulate your values, your core beliefs and vision and relate it back to both your ideal client and what you do, then that is where the magic of content lies, and that is so exciting. And then the last thing that you can do to really ensure that you're creating powerful content is to be consistent. Oh, I know you're rolling your eyes at me right now, but don't. Because consistency does not necessarily mean emailing your list weekly, posting on socials every day, blogging or podcasting weekly. It may look like this, but it really doesn't have to be, because consistency isn't really about those things. Consistency is about following through on what you say you're going to do. It's about giving your ideal client the opportunity to move through the client journey with you. It's about respecting your ideal client as a human being and not just a transactional number. It's about showing up with love, with gratitude, with humanity, and doing it not because someone told you that you have to do it or that you should do it, but because you want to do it. Consistency is also about using your strengths and really honing in on those innate gifts that you have, and every single one of us has an amazing superpower to bring to this world. Really leaning into that so you can make it easy. Consistency is really about supporting yourself and doing it in a way that really meets your current season of life. We are all in different phases of our business. We are all in different phases of our life. Consistency for me is going to look very different to consistency for you for that very reason. And consistency is really about understanding and working with your time, energy, and resources. If we try to go outside those boundaries of our current time, energy, and resources, the opposite of consistency is going to happen. We're going to feel overwhelmed. We're going to feel burnt out. We're going to feel like we just can't do anything. And the result of that is we don't do anything. And I seriously do not want that for you. So if you'd like to know more about how you can support your unique, beautiful self to become more consistent in a way that feels easy for you, then please go ahead and grab my free resource, Unlock Consistent Content, so you can really create consistency in a way that feels easy and doable for you. The link is in the show notes. Okay, so I feel like I've downloaded a lot of information today, so let's quickly recap on what we've talked about. So the first thing is there is no secret code to crack when it comes to content marketing, but you can ensure that you're as successful as you can possibly be with your content marketing by doing these 5 things. The first thing is to be more powerful and strategic with your content. The second is understanding that who the ideal client. The third is being able to talk about the what, the possibilities that you create in your ideal client's life. The next is having clarity around your why, really knowing yourself and why you're here and what you stand for and what you don't stand for. And then wrap all of this up with a consistency bow. So if you'd like to know more about creating powerful content that's energetically different to how you're doing it right now, come and join the waitlist for my membership, The Content Effect. Doors open in just a few short weeks. But in the meantime, there's plenty of exclusive content and bonuses for you to enjoy. Let's talk soon. Thanks so much for listening. That's it for another week. To get more powerful content in your life, make sure you're following along on socials. My handle is @meldbusiness. And just in case you're wondering, the groovy music for this podcast was created by Just Here on SoundCloud. I'd also be super grateful if you took a moment to rate and review this podcast so more amazing women like you can experience the power of content. And if you're like, hell Mel, stop talking, I'm ready to work with you now, here's how we can work some powerful content magic together. Firstly, come and join The Content Effect, my membership inspiring women with service-based businesses to ditch the content chaos and start creating stand-out content that gets you noticed and makes sales. You can join us by using the link in the show notes or just Google The Content Effect. The second way we can work together is via my one-on-one packages. We can create a sustainable content strategy or start to build out your client journey. It's up to you. Hop on over to meldbusinessservices.com.au/services to find out more. Until next time, have a beautiful week and embrace the power of your content.